As the protagonist meditated his energy around him, he was cultivating in his room alone, as he uses the new technique, taught by his father to detect someone. Suddenly he senses someone near him. He sensed someone above him. He chases that person on the roof, jumping to the ceiling corner with his sword. Then he saw the person in front of his eyes, who was none other than his father, waiting for him. He calls for his father, as he was confused to see him. He give a strict glance towards him and ask him a question, of killing sword demon disciple. Now the protagonist finally understood why he was there. Looks at him annoyed, tells him that he killed the person deserving death. Whether he deserved to die or not doesn't matter. The demon's voice echoed. The blood heaven sword demon has come looking for me in regards to that matter. He wants you to receive punishment. A sharp gasp escaped the younger man. You're saying that the blood heaven sword demon went to find you because I killed his disciple? This was even unexpected for even his father too. The younger warrior's expression hardened. He wants to test the relationship I have with my father. Then he'd also find out if father considers me as one of the successor candidates. The older demon's eyes watched him intently. So, I intend to punish you. Protagonist debates as there is no justification for punishment. The demon simply stood. Justification can be made. His eyes stared back at the older man. You asked me which demon supreme I trust the most when we were hunting, didn't you? The older demon finally spoke. The protagonist, his gaze distant, finally spoke. Father, who do you trust the most among the demon supremes? Remembering the past night, to which his father remained quiet, while protagonist thinks, back then, father didn't give me an answer. But in present he finally told him, I don't trust anyone, not even the demon supremes. Then the older man continued, you said hierarchy and discipline needs to be get in order within the cult. I want to hear your true thoughts. He waits for his son's answer watching him. Protagonist in deep thought with a sad look on his face, speaks that, I feel like, somewhere along the line, we've lost the path of the demon. The older man, in shock to hear those words, questions him. What does he mean by that? As they stood on the roof of the glowing pavilion. The old man's gaze sharpened. What does the path of the demon mean to you? The younger man met his gaze. I think the path of the demon would be the belief that only our cult has to defeat absolute evil. Not expecting his answer, father was shocked, while protagonist adds that they are same as any orthodox cult right now. His father asks, then what is their cult then? It'd be absolute evil. Master spoke as his father was sent in shock. I'm referring to absolute evil that's so cowardly and evil that no human in the world can bear. The justice and chivalry that the orthodox faction advocates for might be able to deal with the lesser evils, but I don't think they are capable of dealing with absolute evil. As long as they value people, how could they be a match for evil that has forsaken their humanity and run rampant? We are the only existence within the Murim that can get rid of evil that's atrocious and wicked by being even more wicked, he rasped, his eyes dark and intense, when the great evil that even the orthodox faction can't handle kneels in front of us. I think that's when we've truly accomplished the path of the demon. Father also listening carefully to his each word. If we can't accomplish the true path of the demon, we won't be able to go far. His father was left speechless, as this was also new to him. I can guarantee that father has never thought of this before, Jinmu mused, or heard of anything like this before. Because I didn't learn this or realize this from when I was in this cult. That's what I felt as I wandered the central plains for my whole life. Any other arrogant thoughts? His voice cutting through the tension. When silence followed, he had simply stated, no, that should suffice. I think I know now why the Blood Heaven Sword Demon wants me to punish you. The master's eyes held a strange understanding. He's seen something in you and he wants to use me to test you. Jinmu had considered this. I guess he saw a possibility of being a successor candidate within me, but the master had simply scoffed. Or maybe he sees you as someone who'll mess up our cult. Father looked back at his son, a silent question in his eyes. The master, sensing his thoughts, simply turned. Follow me. Jinmu hesitated. Where are we going this late? He murmured, but the master was already moving. The entrance to the minor heaven cave loomed, a stark opening in the rocky hillside, framed by the silhouettes of pine trees against a dark sky. He knew the true nature of this place, for it was a place where a possible candidate that could become the heavenly demon. Going in is easy, but if they can't get through the trials in it, then they'll be stuck within it forever. Half of the people who are blood-related to the heavenly demon that went in have lost their lives. His resolve hardened. But this is a place that I must pass through at least once if I want to become the heavenly demon. Are you asking me to go into this place? The older man's experience lent weight to his words as he added, I also went in around your age. The young man's curiosity led him to ask, how long did it take for you to get out? The older man's response was succinct. 2 months, the young man exclaims, his face etched with a mixture of anger and disbelief. The father, with a stoic expression, responds from a distance. I was the only one to make it out in 2 months. The rest took on average 3 years. The young man's frustration boils over. You want me to go into such a place without any preparation at all? You're sending me into a place where I could die just because the blood heaven sword demon wants you to punish me? Do you really not care if your son dies? Or are you wishing that I'd become stronger and come out of there alive? He settled his thoughts in his mind, and with a smile on his face, commends that he will try to come earlier than he did. A resolute resolve formed in his heart. The father simply lets out a dismissive humph. Just try to keep yourself alive. In the shadowy high-tech corridors, protagonist began his impossible trial. He moved with a practiced grace, his dark blue hanfu-like attire rustling softly. The first thing that struck him was the sheer scale of the place. As the room started to lit up, showing him path, he reached to the first room with many green lanterns glowing. His eyes fell upon the instruction for the first trial. He had to cut all the dolls in given time, and if not, he will be given another chance in 10 days. His eyes then fell upon the food he will have. I'm supposed to eat those grain balls while I stay here. There was no need to waste any more time. I'll start right away. He stood in the red circle to start the test. His gaze drifted towards a series of imposing dark-armored figures, their forms reminiscent of ancient automatons or golems, their bodies marked with ominous red lines, emerged from the flood beneath him. Looks like I'm supposed to slash where the red marks are, he mused. His gaze sharpened as he was ready to cut some dolls. A sudden sharp ripped through the silence as he moved, cutting all the dolls in his way, a blur of motion and steel. His blade sang, a fierce symphony of destruction, as he non-stop keeps in slicing all the dolls precisely. As he was cutting through them, stopped in place thought, they were tougher than he thought. Looks back at the room, to find that there were still some dolls left to break. He tenses up as he dashes towards them thinking, I couldn't let them go down. Not like this, as he barely manages to cut the doll before it went down, but other dolls also started to go down, at same time. Without taking break he jumped at them, cutting through all the dolls in one go. He stops himself skidding, as there was one last doll to kill which was almost gone. He grits his teeth and jumped to it with full force, coming closer to the doll face, in the last second with a dash. He cuts its head, completing the first trial in one go. He exhaled, glanced over his shoulder at the countless broken forms strewn across the floor, as the other door opens up in front of him, leading to the next trial. Him now stood amidst the silence, walking towards the door, as his glacé fell upon something leaving the room. It was the writing of previous ones telling, amount of tries it took for them, while some could not get past, but his eyes fell upon the writing at the end. He leaned closer, their expression thoughtful to read what it says. Idiots. Was written by someone, scoff escaped his lips. As he realized it was his father. Although he's not wrong, I can't believe he berated our ancestors. A sudden halt, as he reached the second room for their next trail, saw a large room similar to previous one, but weapons hanging on all walls. The figure approached the weapon display, their eyes scanning the myriad of blades. Seeing as how there are so many types of weapons, this trial seems to be one that would need to make use of them. The second trail read, to split a stone in half using any sword hung on the wall. Without hesitation, the figure stepped into its embrace. He held his ornate sword and examined the smooth, pale orb resting on a weathered pedestal before him. He looks down on the ball in disappointment, thinking, I have 2 hours for this. That's too much time to just cut a single ball into half. He further thinks, the hidden reason of the trail, as he grabs on sword from the wall, smashing it on the ball, breaking it in one swing. I guess just slashing it won't work, he thought. In that case, he resolved, tightening his grip on the sword, I'll use enhanced sword aura to cut this in half. His sword became a blur, infused with the shimmering blue energy of his enhanced aura. He stops in between realizing something, undoing his energy from his sword, as now the sword rests in his hand, while he thinks it is too easy for a trail, and wonders how other did this. Turning to their words, many used enhanced to cut. While one states that he cut it without using sword aura, other thinks that this person is lying. While protagonist search his father words, which stated that if there is heat, You lose, made him wonder. Why did he say that? His usual self would just berate them and get it over with like he did in the first trial. The instructions clearly stated, you may use sword aura or enhanced sword aura. Yet, the word may echoed in his mind, sparking a flicker of doubt. Then this trial can only be truly passed without using sword aura or enhanced sword aura. He stars the trail just hitting the ball with swords, breaking them, even using axe to cut it, but it recoiled back. He used hammer to break it apart, but still no result. I can't even leave a scratch on it. How do I split this in half without enhanced sword aura? He gritted out. My time limit is almost up. The desperate thought, should I just use enhanced sword aura and pass? He squeezed his eyes shut, a silent ha escaping his lips as he fought against the urge to give in. A vision of his father's stern. Father split this into half without using enhanced sword aura. Suddenly, a flicker of an idea ignited within him. A faint blue aura began to emanate from him. He used his technique to sense something in the ball, his blue thread-like energy checking the ball from all direction. As he finally got something, he focused. I can detect a faint line that I couldn't see just by using my eyes to look at the ball. He raised his sword, not with brute force, but with a precise, almost fluid motion. His focus sharpened, swinging his sword to the perfect line, cutting the sphere in half in one blow. He overjoyed as he was able to do it, and complete the trail in one go, but he saw a pill in between the sphere kept for the one who passes the trial. He recognizes the pill, stands in shock to see that there, as it was demonic essence pill. He thinks holding the pill. If I had cut the ball with enhanced sword aura, then this pill would have exploded due to the heat. His fingers tightened around the pill, his mind racing. Don't create heat, he remembered, echoing the long-gone advice of his father, thanking him as he took the pill. He now sits in the room, concentrating the energy from the pill, taking all the energy into his body without leaving anything behind. His body glowed in purple light. As a sigh of the pros is starting, the energy from all over the room rushed to him, as he finally opens his eyes and stands up after the process. Clench his fist happily. As he succeeded, he could feel strong power from his body, as energy was the thing he lacked, which he finally got. The tablet's glow intensified, revealing the rules of the next trial. Differentiate life and death. Differentiate life and death, protagonist mused, a frown creasing his brow. He stepped forward, the crimson circle pulsing faintly beneath his feet. A pedestal came from beneath him, with different types of plant, and then he saw them. A grid of various plant matter, some verdant, some withered, all silent. A trial that requires me to differentiate herbs from poisonous plants. A wry smile touched his lips. He thought of, I searched everywhere for the ingredients that GWI Ryongja asked for. I know how to differentiate all sorts of herbs and poisonous plants, and this was an easy trial for him. His hand reached for a plant. This is the only thing that's not a poisonous plant, he stated. As another one came after the first one, with different plants this time, he watches them thinking. They want to prevent anyone who got lucky with this trial by guessing, so they want them to go through a second test. As he easily picked correct one again and again, with the pedestal keep coming one after another. As the cycle ends, he asks himself, there aren't any coming up again. Was that the end? As his eyes fell upon the writing of the previous ones, he saw them as they read, some getting tense for becoming a poisonous human, while some complain, some succeeded in their 96th try while some lost hair over eating them, while his father stated, to don't count on luck, as he realizes that he meant to remember everything he ate from first test. The last trial, to survive the illusory life and death trap formation. And you can die in it. A trial where I die upon failure. He saw the reading first, as they read, everyone telling the fight was scary and tough. His father words just stated, don't rest, the path ahead was treacherous. As he steps on the circle, thinking as his father advised to not rest, to take it in his real life too and live like that, the background starts to change. He looks behind him in shock, as he knew he was going in the trap formation as the last trail. After everything settled, he found himself in middle of a desert, taking note of everything in that place, from wind to the animals moving, as he sits to feel the ground, as everything felt real there. To think there could be something that creates things that are so real. He sensed something as he saw with a side eye. From the swirling mists, figures began to coalesce, grotesque, decaying warriors, their eyes burning with a phantom light. Although they're illusions, I can really feel their presences. Even their intent to kill me, a smirk gracing his lips. This is truly a good opportunity for me. He unsheathes his sword to fight. He gripped his sword tightly facing the enemies, as they all rushed towards him together. He just stood there, waiting for them to reach him, with sudden burst of energy his eyes concentrated. He dodged an attack from behind his head, dodging a killing blow, but killing the zombie instead piercing his head. Others find this opportunity to attack, as they swing their swords at his head, which he dodges with a leap in air, avoiding all blows as he skid backwards thinks. Since I'm not dealing with humans, circulating his energy from his body in his blade, I can fight all of them without any hesitation, cutting many with a huge blue slash, as he stood there after his attack, thanking the pill from before, but more blades pointed at him comes closer, as he watches them from behind, as he stood in between the whole chaos, while all rushed at him, with a determined glance, as he watched the zombies coming for him from above. He let out a small breath from his lips, surrounded by many swords in between, and nowhere to escape. Suddenly a blue light slashed in the chaos, leaving a mark in the bodies of all the zombies, as they get stopped in place, without able to move, finally start to disassemble from form the blue lines, which were cuts from a sword, as the protagonist stood there cutting all the zombies in one go. Blood splattered the battlefield, as bodies start to drop from above into pieces. Protagonist swings his sword to wipe the blood from it, as he watches back in disappointment, thinking that it's over, and it would be a pity. It was this much only, stood there as the smoke settles, but his eyes suddenly fell onto something again, making him happy, leaving a smile on his lips, as many more powerful figure approached him, which had more powerful energy from before.